Mayor, you've put forth a motion regarding illegal drugs.
I want to step back. I appreciate what you're saying. That's not what the motion's about, but I want to be very clear. We heard today from the owners of Cossack, who are directly related to 310 Division. We heard about their concerns.
And given that where they're situated, when you say they're related to.
Sorry, yeah, they're situated too. They own the property beside and across, and they've done a really good job sort of outlining the concerns of the community, and doing so in a very appropriate way when dealing with vulnerable individuals. These two people have been in the community for years. They've been dealing with Transition House and the difficulty surrounding that for years, and I think they're really good spokespeople for what the community at large is looking for. And I think we should be very careful, because what was decided today, or what we talked about today at the standing committee, was about looking for an agreement between county and Cobourg. But I want to be clear, that's not us trying to tell the county how to run social services. We want to stay in our lane. The Cobourg Council and the town of Cobourg, we're very well aware that we don't know how to do social services. That's not our mandate, that's not our prerogative. And we're really happy, at least I know I am, I can't speak for all of council. I'm really proud of the work that the Northumberland County is doing. We've, for years, prior to me ever being in this office, we've seen motion from our Cobourg Council go forward about the need to improve our shelter services. We've seen motions from Cobourg about the need to do better for our most vulnerable, to provide more safe shelter, to provide more housing for the more vulnerable. Again, this is going back years, well before my time. This council has been asking the county for years to do more for our most vulnerable. And here we are in 2024, and we've got movement in the right direction. We're seeing the county do what we've been asking, which is to provide a better service and that's the goal here. We have some public engagement moving forward through January, and what I've tried to do is to communicate with the public that this is going to happen, and whether it's a good thing or a bad thing is going to be found out as we move forward. I think anytime there's change, we have to look at change as a whole. There's always a potential for good change, and that change can also be bad change. And right now, we're seeing change, which is a positive. We're seeing the county step up and do great work. When you're talking about the Director of Social Services, when you're looking at some of the individuals in our housing department at the county, I mean, they're thinking outside the box, they're being creative, they're looking for solutions, they're doing exactly what they need to. So this is in no way, shape, or form a shot at the county, because that's not what we're looking to do. What we're looking for is a collaborative approach where the concerns of Cobourg and the residents surrounding 310 Division are heard, and we're looking for an agreement that no matter the council, no matter the board of directors, the Transition House, no matter what happens, that we're all on the same page as to whose responsibility is what. Now, we're very well aware that the responsibility to provide housing and shelter services and all that is up at the county level. So we're not trying to tell them how to do their job. I want to be very clear about that. What we're trying to do here at Cobourg is protect the interests of our community in Cobourg. And I think that's exactly what I'm elected to do and our council's elected to do. So in the move to, as 310 Division goes through the process, I am stressing to the community to ask for something that is achievable. And I think when we look at what happened at the Durham region in Whitby, we have a very good example of how two levels of government can work together to come to an agreement to satisfy the community as we take these next few important and very interesting first steps. 310 Division is taking sort of four separate issues we have in Cobourg and putting them into one. And the potential for success is there. The potential for this to be revolutionary for our community is there. And I think asking for an agreement between the county and Cobourg is in no way, shape, or form us trying to tell the county what to do. It's actually about having a very clear understanding going into a relationship about whose responsibilities are what. I like to equate it to a business partnership or even a marriage. When you have two groups coming together to form a partnership, it's really good to sort of outline the rules about when things go bad before they ever do go bad. It's a lot safer, a lot better, and a lot more conducive to a long-lasting, successful relationship if you've gone through all the what-ifs and have decided whose responsibility is what. And what we're looking for is to make sure that it's not the old, well, if it's inside these four walls, it's our problem, but once it's outside these four walls, it's Cobourg's problem. We want to get away from that mentality. We want to move towards this is Northumberland County, of which Cobourg plays a big part. We are two peas in a pod in a sense, both on the same team, working for the benefit of our community. And let's give our community some solidity in what they can expect. Let's give our community some answers to the questions. What's going to happen when there's a garbage buildup? What's going to happen at night with security? I would recommend everyone familiarize themselves with the agreement between Durham Region and Whitby as to some of the examples of agreement and sort of difficult situations they navigated, so that when these situations pop up, it's very clear how they're handled.
So,
I know, you want to talk about the drugs bylaw.
that's right.
Okay, so this is...
And obviously, this is the motion, or the motion that was put forward will go to the council for approval.
What the motion was simply to ask of our bylaw department what can and can't be done, and to make recommendations to council about potential changes in our bylaw to address some of the community's concerns. At my town hall as the mayor, we heard from a gentleman by the name of Jeff McLean, who very clearly asked about what about a bylaw about open consumption of drugs in public. We have a bylaw in Cobourg that you can't consume alcohol in public. Now, alcohol is a legal product. Alcohol is not something we persecute because it can be consumed. So we're trying to look at drugs in a similar manner. And so what that motion is we're dealing with loitering, we're dealing with open use, we're dealing with a lot of the nuisances that we're hearing from the community that they want addressed. And so what today's motion was under the new governance structure is a request for our municipal bylaw department to come back with some recommendations that they might have, looking both at the legal ramifications of that and also the sort of implications and best practices in regions around. We've got examples in Kingston, we've got examples in Peterborough, we've got different examples that are going on right now. And so this is simply a request for the clerk's department to come back to council at the end of the month with potential recommendations on how we can get ahead of these problems before they start. I'm getting that look at your face, Pete, where you're not sure about what other question to ask. So let me give you one, if that's okay. I am very aware that this may, if a bylaw is enacted, this would put our police in a very difficult predicament. And that's why I wanted to take the lead on this. Our police officers have a very clear mandate and a very clear direction, and they don't get that from municipal government. Which is why this municipal government is looking for tools that we can use at our disposal. I don't expect the police or the chief to start enforcing a bylaw like this. It's not part of the criminal code, and they aren't supposed to be politicians. They are police officers with a job to do, and they get their direction not from anyone like me. And so what we're doing is we're staying in our lane here in Cobourg. What we can do is enact municipal bylaws, and so that's what we're exploring at this time. I'm not sure where this will go. I'm not sure what will come of it. This is simply the first step in going down that direction.